I mean, record.
Okay, so I think I explained about array. Why do we use frameworks? I didn't explain. Let's see. Okay, okay. So why do we use? Why do we go with frameworks? Let me see. First of all, uh, arrays are used. We use array to save. So I would say multiple. I believe multiple values inside. This is the best definition that you can give about array. Arrays are used to save multiple values inside a variable. Okay, so as I explained here, so inside a variable, I can say I can keep a lot of values. So it depends to us. So we avoid creating a lot of variables for every value. So I need to create A for 10, and then I need to create B for imagine 11, C for another one. So then we have to create to use 100 data type, 100 type of variable just to go to get to 100. That's too much. So that's why we use array. This is the this definition of array. So now what are good things about arrays? If I say pros, the pros of the array is, as I said, arrays are used, this is I can use, um, it can keep multiple values inside the variable. Okay, so this is the I think the most important one. But we have also cons. What are cons about arrays? First of all, I mean the disadvantages. The first one, they are static. Arrays are always static. It means uh, we need to define the size at the big at, uh, define the size uh, at the so we need to define the size. If I want to create an array, I have to put the size here. Okay, so I need to put 100. If I want to use 100, 90, or 80, so I need to put the size. Okay, this is pros. This is a static. The static is not dynamic. The size doesn't grow itself. Okay, I think I explained this, but let me just go through quickly. The second thing, so if okay, so let me just explain here, and let me just go. May it may come in handy. So imagine if I use if I use, let me see, hmm, I say int again a, then bracket close, open, close, equal, then I would say 100. Okay, and then I say e, that's all. So then I have 100 value inside a. So this is about array. So by 100 mean, though this is not that, this is bracket, not this one. Then I would say, for example, then I can say, for example, I would say then from 1 to 100. Then I will give it from 1 to 100. To start from 0. And then if I use an imagine 50, okay, if I give, for example, a, then a I would say 10, index of 10 equals 50. This is the value, okay? This is the value. So now I use the index 50. How many number I have here? I still have 90, okay? I still have 90. It means when I give the size in an array, if I want to use more than the size, I'll give exception. If I want to use less than the size, then the memory will be wasted, okay? Now I have 100 here, but I'm using index 10, and this is the value. Imagine this is index 9, 8, whatever. So, but here I'm using index 10. But if I want to reach index 11, because I don't have value, if I want to print index 11, it's going to give me a exception, because index will be considered as a virtual size. this is 100, but I gave only 10 indexes. I gave value for 10 indexes, or 11, because I start from 0. And the last index is 50. If I want to reach the index 11, I will give me exception, because whenever I want to uh, access the value that has not been, imagine I'm using 100 here, this is the value, but I only gave value to 10, to 10, not more than 10. Whenever I want to get 11, 12, or 13, these are called virtual values. It means this value is only virtual. You have not defined any value to it. So 10, 15, if I say 11, A, then index 11 equal, imagine, let's say 11 or whatever. You can say, let's give it 10. Now I can access this index 11. But since I don't have index 12, if I want to reach 12, it gives me exception. How can I reach 12? So I can use index 12 and print it. Whenever I want to print index 12, it's going to give me an exception, because it says here, you didn't give value to index 12. You only gave value from 0 to 11. So 11 is 10, 10 is 50, or 0 is whatever. It means if I want to use any virtual value inside array that I have not given value to it yet, it's going to give me exception. So I'm going to show you how. Okay. So let me just go here and give you example. Imagine if I come here and I would say int r or ar equal, so I would say 1, 2, 3, 4. And if here, if I want to print, okay, if I want to print like this is 4, okay, if I want to print this, and then it's going to give me 4. But what I can give, then I can give, okay, give me, for example, so 3. If I use 3, let's see. My system is too slow. See, it's giving me 4, because I have only 4 value here, 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now, instead of index 3, this value is index 3, 0, 1, 2. Now I'm going to give me 4. What does 4 mean? It means I should have value. Okay. Now, if I want to give this like this way, that means to give, okay, I'm going to give you 4. Okay. So just remember this. Okay. So, and then if I want to, let me give you another example that you guys understand that. Okay, so let's get back to that one. Maybe we don't have time. I just want to show you something. Okay, so this is only 4. Now, if I want to reach 5, because this is only easy, it gives me array out of bound exception. It means whenever I have an array that I gave 100, but I didn't give value to all of those 100 numbers, then whenever I want to reach that value, it's going to give me exception, because here I only gave values to these 4. Okay, whenever I want to read something more than that, this is going to give me exception. This is going to be called virtual value. Okay, whatever value we give here, it's going to be virtual value. That's why we call an array is a static. A static, it means the size is fixed, you cannot change it. It means whenever you put 4, you can only access 4 of them. And something about array, okay? Remember, whenever you create an array, the number you are going to print should be one number less than the last number, okay? This is very important. The last number is 4. You can only print tail 3. This is a good trick that you guys remember not to get that exception. If the number is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'll give 10, okay? Then here, so I can, if I want to print, this is 10 number, okay? Because since I start from 0, sometimes you mixed up, just remember it this way because it helps a lot. So whatever number I have here, only -1. Print the -1. It means you're going to get the last one. So if I want to print 11 again, this 11 will be is called virtual value because it doesn't exist. So when I want to reach the virtual value, it's going to give me exception. That's why we call it an array is a static. Okay. So what is bad about a static? We need to define the size at the beginning. One. So if we want to get the virtual value, will give us array out of bound exception. I don't know if what, let's see. Okay, whenever I want to get the virtual value, it's going to give me array out of bound exception. Okay, just remember this. That's I think all. So now another issue. So imagine if I give this 100, if I give this like 5, then I only using 3. Okay, I'm only using 3 of them. From this 4 up to here, this array, the memory will be wasted. It means it's not going to adjust itself. Okay, I have 10 numbers, but the last number which is being used is 3 or index 4. Okay, let's delete this from memory. No, it's not going to be deleted. So the memory will be uh, occupied because it's a static, it's not dynamic. So another thing you can say, if we do not use all the data we have defined, the memory will be wasted. So this is something that we should important. So if you don't use all the values we have defined, if I come here, I have defined 100 values, but I'm using tail index 11. So it means 89 locations will be wasted. Okay, that's why we say static. It means when I gave 100, I have to use that 100. It's not that I have, but if I don't use all of that, the memory will be wasted. But if I put 100 here, but I give value tail number 11. If whenever I want to get the index 12, it's going to give me exceptions. You know what? Because this value has not been, this index has not been given any value. That's why we say static. So arrays are static. So so in arrays are used to save multiple value inside one variable. Okay, this is important. Pros, it can keep multiple values inside the variable. Cons, static, it means we need to define the size at the beginning. If we want, to get the virtual value or virtual size, I would say, it means the size that you have not given value to. The size, the value, the index that we have not given value to. Okay, so the index that we have not given value to yet, uh, we will get array out of bound exception. And also, if we do not use all the values we have defined, the memory will be wasted as the size is static. Okay, because once you put 4 here, once you put 10 and you're using 3, you have to delete this manually. It's not going to adjust itself. Okay, you have to come and delete it, but mostly we don't. These are the pros. So, and another thing, we only use the type. So we only use primitive data type with arrays. Very important. We never use like wrapper classes. Imagine if I come here, every primitive data type has a wrapper class. Imagine if I have int, then the wrapper of int is integer. You guys know that, yeah? This is the integer. If I want to use like char, the wrapper of the char is character. Okay. If I want to use, for example, you guys all know that this is something not important. Okay, not important because you guys know that. So with the array list with collections, we use wrapper classes. Okay, instead of int we use integer, instead of char we use character, and instead of also other things we use the same thing. But here in array we only use primitive data type. There are 8 of them that you guys know. Okay, and another things about array is all the data must be the same type. Okay, all the data must be the same type. It means it should be int. If I want to put like, let's say, if I want to put like, a, okay, since it's int, you're not gonna be able to use it. So imagine if I want to get, let me see, 10, but we have, see, it's gonna give you the not the index number, something different. But we have an option for this. We can use object. Okay, when I use object array, and if I use the same index, it's gonna give me a. Okay, the only option is to use object array, but that's the another issue with array. So all the data must be the same type. It means when you use int, the data should be int. When you use an array of a string, if I want to use a string here, then uh, there is no way to use these numbers. So these should be changed to int. If I want to use double, all of them should be, the double type. Okay, so these are about array, and why do we use collection? So you should know that. So the reason we use collection because arrays have these issues. To overcome these issues, we use collections. Okay, so instead of array, for example, we use array list. Another name for array list. Okay, another name for array list is dynamic array. If someone says what is dynamic array is array list. Okay, remember this. So just to get rid of these issues, we use array list. Okay, so this is something that you should important. Why do we use array? Arrays are used to save multiple values inside a a, a single, just to make emphasis, uh, a single variable. So pros, it can keep multiple values inside a variable. That's good. Cons, or the bad things, or the whatever we say negative, it's a static. It means we need to define the size at the beginning, and the size does not change dynamically. Okay, the size does not change dynamically. So that's why we say array or static or not dynamic. If you want to get the virtual size, what is the virtual size? The index that we have not given value to yet. Okay, we have not yet given value to. So then we will get array out of bound exception. If we do not use all the values we have defined, then the memory will be wasted as the size is static. Okay, because it's not going to be changed. And we only use primitive data type with arrays. All the data must be the same type. So if you use different size, it's not going to help you. The only uh, except we use object array. Except because object is the main data type, so it can be used for all of them. And if you talk about pros and cons of array this way, so you are very knowledgeable, guys. Remember, this is the reason why do we use collections. So we use array. Another thing, let me add this one. uh, Arrays do not have arrays do not have what is the word for it? Arrays do not have do not have yeah.
You mean duplicate or so?
We have like a built-in method. I think I told you. So built-in method, it means uh, so let me see. If when I talk about built-in method, it means if I want to, so there is no method inside the array if I want to iterate through it. If, for example, there is no method like add, to like remove, like a lot of things. So there is no built-in method in arrays, as is a static. Okay, array do not uh, have built-in method. Remember, this is very important. Built-in method. I use it twice. So, like, if I give you example, like for adding, for removing, for and just go on. Okay, so this is another issue we have. And the last one, uh, I think I talked about it. All the data type must be the same. So when the data type are the same, we call them homogeneous data type. Okay, when the data type are different, we call them heterogeneous. You may remember the name or not. So for why do we use array list? Just to avoid these issues. Okay, remember, why do we use array list? To avoid these issues. So imagine arrays, they do not provide any built-in methods like add, like remove, like uh, you know replace or whatever. These are the issues. So once these are the issues, then we use collection framework. Then in collection framework, it represents a group of objects as a single entity. So it means it's dynamic. And collection is the main interface, as I told you. It extends three interfaces: list, set, and queue. When we talk about interface to interface, we use the word extends. Okay. Or another way we can say these three interfaces are they extend the main interface. Each of these interfaces must be implemented by a class. Otherwise, there is no use of them. Okay. If I give you the example the other day, yes, I think you know it, but let's be just quick. Okay. If I want to talk about this is the main interface. The main interface is collection. Okay. This is collection interface, and this collection interface uh, then it implements different like three interfaces. It's not dynamic. Okay, this is one interface, the other one, and the other one. Just remember this, okay? So we have another three interfaces. This collections then has three. The first interface is list, as I gave you guys example, and then the second one is set, and the last one was queue. These are three main interfaces. So the collection is the main interface. Then it implements, it is extended by three main interfaces. And these interfaces, then they have their own classes. These are all interfaces, guys, okay? And then they have their own classes. These classes then are called something, let me just, okay? For example, list has three classes. Uh, so list has like array list, length list, these two, and then and also we have another one, and list also has two, actually three, but I don't want to go with it. So uh I said, so, and also this is three classes, and the last one is Actually, here we have another one, Victor, but delete it. And this one for Q, there's one class, priority queue, okay? And also that's something that linked list. So linked list is the only class that is used with two interfaces, okay? Remember this. Linked list is the only class that is used with list, okay? And also the same class is used with queue interface, okay? Linked list is used with queue and list. Very good, important oral interview question. So, and also we have another class here, Vector, okay? This is Vector, maybe with D, I think. I forgot the spelling. So these are three interfaces, three main interfaces, okay, that they are implemented by these classes. The main interface is collection, list, and then I gave you example of how we use them, okay? So then collection interface is a main interface, it extended three interfaces, list, set, and queue that I gave you example, okay? And now every one of them that has each of these interfaces must be implemented by a class. Otherwise, there is no use of them. Remember, if whenever you have an interface, if there is no class to implement that interface is useless. So I gave you an example that if you have a car and then we don't have the key, so that car is useless. We are not able to drive it. If you have money but you don't have access to the money, so there is no use of that money. So what I'm saying is, whenever we talk about interface, there must be a class to implement it and use the feature of that interface. Okay, so these are about this, and then which one is better? I told you last week. We don't mind which one is better. Every one of these interfaces, they have some criteria. So it depends to the requirement when I want to use list, set, or queue. So it's not like something that which one is better. Okay, give you example. So classes that implement list interface are also. So these three classes implement list interface. Remember, array list. What is array list? Array list is dynamic array. Okay, same array but dynamic. So I gave you example. We have it here. Classes that implement set interface are high set, link high set, and tree set. So we go with all of these, but just remember for now. Classes that implement queue interface are priority queue and linked list. So this linked list is used, if you see, this linked list is also here. I gave you example. So this linked list is implemented by using list interface. Remember, list interface. And also this linked list is used implementing queue interface. Same thing. This linked list is a class. It implements list interface and also queue interface. So this class is used for the two different interfaces. Okay, note linked list is the only class implemented by two interfaces, list and queue. Remember, I gave you a note, so I'm just going through all of them. Learning list interface, it implements array list and linked list. Okay. So linked list interface implements array list and array list, linked list, and now we come to this question: when to use list interface? I told you. So when they ask you which one is better, never say list is better than set, set is better than queue, whatever. Based on the requirement. Again. So remember, we only use these based on our requirements. So now we come to the requirement. Imagine when duplicate elements are needed or should be allowed, then it use set, use list. So okay, when to use list interface? Whenever we have requirement that duplicate element should be allowed, because list allows duplicate elements. It allows duplicate elements. Okay. When insertion order of element is important based on my requirement, the insertion order. Whenever I use, so imagine I don't add one here. Okay, I start from 2. I go to none. Whenever I add number 1, so number 1 should come here without putting it here. So it means that the insertion order is preserved. Whenever insertion order of element is important, because list keeps the order. Okay, keeps the order 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Whenever if I don't have 5, okay, if I don't have 5, whenever I add 5, the number 5 will come here because it keeps the insertion order. Number 3, when we need to use null values. What is null? Null is because it allows nulls. So what is null? Remember, whenever uh, we, by using nulls, we reserve a place for the data type that we don't have it now. Maybe we're going to have the data type later. Maybe we don't have the ready username or password, but we need a place for it. So we give that value null. So list accepts null. We can say so. And remember, list is index based. We can use for loop to iterate through it using indexes. Very important. They may ask you, can we use for loop for everything? No, you cannot use for loop with set, because set is not index based. Okay. If they ask you, we can list is index based. Index. Okay. So we can use for loop for this. The list set is not index based. We're going to study this, but what I'm saying is the main difference that I'm saying list is index based. So we can use for loop to iterate through it using indexes. These are the reason why we use list. Okay, it allows a duplicate element. It maintains the insertion order. Whenever order is important for you, you use list. When we need to use nulls, again, what is null? Null is just to reserve a hotel for me. So, but I'm going to reserve for a hotel in another state, but I'm not there yet. So I may go there. But there, null is the same thing. We reserve a place for a value that we can give the value later. So it accepts null values. And the last thing, list is index based. We can use for loop to iterate through it. This is an example because we can use indexes to be iterated. So, and list has two classes, array list and list. So these are the main reason that we talked about the list. Okay, this is the list. So when you use list interface, these are the reason I gave you. Then this list has three classes that we talked about, two of them. And now we talked about when to use array list, when to use list. Okay, when to use array list. I think I gave you example. Let me. Okay, so I think I gave example. Let me see. When we mostly need to retrieve the data as it is index based, so it is easy to retrieve the data. It is not good for insertion and deletion because shifting will be placed. Okay, can be happening. Okay, should I tell you again these things? Okay, let me see. Okay, it says array list. Okay, what is the difference? So when to use array list? So when we need to retrieve the data. Okay, since array list is index based, array list is index based. What is retrieving? You know, retrieving is just to get the data. Okay, whenever I want to get the data, it is a very good option to use array list. So this is index 1, 2, 4, 5, whatever. It starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Since everything is maintained in the index spaces, I can easily use index. So I can say, okay, for example, a.get. I can use get method and put the index. I want to get the value of index, the value of 3. So what is the index for it? 0, 1, 2, 3. So then 0, 1, 2, 3. This is the index. I will say 4. It is very good to when we have a condition, we have requirement that I As a tester, mostly I need to retrieve data. You need to retrieve data. I already have the data. I want to get the data. So use ArrayList because it's index based, so I can only use the method it has. You know, they have built-in method. Get is the one built-in method. So by putting the array, but the index, I can get the data from there. Very easy. Okay, retrieving data. As it is index-based, so it is easy to retrieve the data. I give example. It is not good for insertion and deletion because shifting will be happening. Okay, so again, the same example. Okay, let's talk about insertion. If I want to talk about insertion, if I want to, let me see. Again, A is my array list. I would say if I want to add something, I would say add. This is the method. When I talk about built-in method, these are the built-in methods. So I want to add something here. 0, 1, 2. This is index 2. Okay, index 3. Index 0, index 1, index 2. Okay, in index 2, I put the index here. I want to add a value which is 7, for example, something. Then I want to add this value, and this value will be adding here. So then whenever I insert something, all these data will be shifted on the right. Okay, and another thing, if I want to say, okay, remove something, remove, I want to remove this 4. So I would say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then imagine if I put here 5, index 5, whatever. If I want to remove this one, this will be removed. Okay, these data, imagine these are 100 data, will be shifting here. So this 4, index 4 becomes 3. Okay, so shifting will be happening in case of if you want to insert something, if you want to remove something, any index. If you remove any index, if I want to remove this index, if I want to remove this index, okay, all these indexes will be shifting here. This index 2 will become 1, 3 become 2, 4 become 3, 5 become 4, 6 become 5. So, and whenever we want to insert or delete something, since insertion will, because it's index space, it's not a good for insertion and deletion because shifting will be happening. What is shifting? All the data will be shifted. You know what? Because order should be kept. If I'm deleting index 2, okay, since it's index space, this 3 should become 2 because here it's 1, okay, 2 is missing, so 3 should become 2. It is index based and it maintains the order, so everything will be shifted to just match it. Okay, I had like my indexes were 7, now my indexes are 6, so all these indexes will be moved here. If I want to delete one of them, all these indexes will be moved. So this is why we say shifting will be placed, will be happening. So this is time consuming if you have a lot of data. So ArrayList is only used to retrieve the data because it is index based. By using get method, we can only get the data that we have. I'll give you example. Okay, and then when to use linked list, whenever we need to insert and delete the data based on our requirement, linked list is the great option. As it is not index based, so it is easy to do the insertion and deletion because shifting will not take place and only the nodes will be changed. I think I gave the example. So so these are nodes. In linked list, we don't have index, okay? Everything is based on these nodes. Imagine these are the nodes. It says 0, 1, 2. Every value has 3 parts. This is value 1. This is value 2. The middle one is the main value. So this is the value. If I want to say this is A, this is B, and this is C. Okay. This one is the first node. Since this here is empty, this node is called previous node. is null because this one is empty. And this node, this is called next node. Okay, next node. This will be linked to this one. Okay, this previous link, the previous node, this is also another node, will be linked to this one. Okay, and then there is another next node. This node will be shift to this one, and this previous node of C will be shift to this one. Okay, these are nodes. Okay, this is linkless. These are called nodes. There is no index here. Okay, so shifting will not be placed. Imagine if I want to add one element here, okay, I would add number 3. This is 3, and this is going to be D. Only these nodes will be connected here. That's all. And this, since there is no number 4, the last node, which is next node, is null because there is no element here. Okay. And if I want to imagine, if I want to delete, what is linked list good? Linked list is good for insertion and deletion. So I'm going to delete something. I'm going to delete number 1. So I would say A, my array, my linked list, and then I would say remove. For example, this is remove 0, 1. So I will put 1 here. And this one will be removed. Only these nodes will be disconnected. Okay. And this one will be removed. And the node, this node will be connected to the previous node. And this previous node will be connected to this node. So this one will be gone. No shifting will be placed. So you see, but in case of array list, everything will be misplaced or moved. And if I want to add something, this is the same thing. If I want to add something here, again, tomorrow, if I add this, so it was number 1, I deleted, okay? I'll add 1 again. Then if I want to add this one exactly here, then the node from 0 will be connected to 1 and 1 will be connected to 0. And then because since I add this after 0, the node from this will be connected to this one, and the node from this will be connected to this one. So let's take it like this. Only nodes will be changing, nothing, no index. So these two will not be moving here because I deleted this one. Only nodes will be disconnected, okay? Remember this. So whenever we have insertion and deletion, linked list is the best thing because shifting will not take place. Just remember this. Shifting will not take place because everything, only the nodes will be changed. Okay, I'm going to show you. So these are the main things that you should remember. The array list. Whenever we want to have these criteria, we go with list. But there are 2 classes. When I have retrieving, I want to get the data mostly. I will use array list. Whenever I have like insertion and deletion, I will use linked list, which is faster because in linked list, if I have a lot of data, imagine I have 1,000 data. These data will not be shifted if I remove something, if I replace something. But in case of array list, these all will be shifted because this is index based. So these are the main thing, and it is not a good option for retrieving data because it starts from the first node to look for the data, so it will take longer than array list. Okay. For retrieving, we say array is the better one, array list, but linked list is not good for retrieving the data. Okay, it's not good. It's not a good option for retrieving the data because it will start because it starts from the first node to look for the data. Remember, if I come here, I want to get index number 3. Okay, I would say a dot let's say get. I'll go get number 2. I'll put here 0, 1, 2, 3. I'll put imagine 4. In case of linked list, it starts from 0. Okay, is it in the 0? No. 1, no. 2, no. 3, yes. Found 3. Will it be 3? What if we have a lot of data, so it takes longer? So we have retrieving operation instead of linked list. We go to array list by using the index we get. So these are the main differences between these. Any questions, guys?
No question. Thank you.
Are you guys hearing me or no?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello.
Are you guys here?
We can
Yeah,
hear you.
can you hear me?
Can't hear you.
Can you hear us, Rafiq John?
You guys hear me?
I think
I can't hear you. Maybe. Okay, so let's go to the Eclipse. I want to start from. So this is a list I created for you guys. So first of all, let me see how we create linked list classes. So for linked list, this is the one way that we use. Um, but I can't hear you guys. Okay, so array list. There are two ways to use array list. Okay, first of all, I can use how to create array list. Okay, array list AR1 equal. There are two types. So the first one is the array list without okay. So the first one without a specific data type, I can add any kind of data type inside this. Okay, but the first one, this array list is with a specific data type. Okay, so with a specific data type, the data type is a string. It means I can only use a string. So imagine these are all strings. So this is, then I start adding elements. So when I talk about the built-in method, it means if I want to add something here, I will use the object dot add. Okay, but it should be a string. Then I would say, for example, I would say LT. This is a string. Now, if I comment this and I use this array, see here, if I want to use this array, then I need to use this object. If I use the object, it's gonna work fine, you know, because this is an array that works with all data type. So this is a string. I'll use the object. Let me just do it this way. I'll copy this, copy everything. Then here, I'll put this here. And then I'll cut this. Okay, this is the first array that we do. We can use a lot of data. So this is LG number 2. I would say 2. Okay, 2 is integer. Number 3, I would say 3.5. This is double. 4, I would say char 8. This one Boolean, I would say true. And the last one, I would say null. Okay, I am saving multiple data types inside one array list, okay, by using add method. This array list now has all the methods. So if I want to print this array list, okay, if I say this out, print this array list, let's see, it LG2 3.0 A true. This array list, this is without a specific data type. We didn't define data, so we can save everything you want. Okay, and this is gonna be printing here. But when we want to specific data type, we use array list. Then if I want to use a string, I would add a string, and then I need to use a string also here. Then the only thing I need to use is a string. Now, if I want to print this, okay, then it says LG, Lenovo, these are all a string. Okay, these are all a string if I want to print this. So it depends if you want to use data type or not. Okay, and another type of array list also is the same. I'm adding by using add, we add a value to the data type. So and this is about array list, but we have different methods that I showed you guys. So let me just go to the method. So adding the phone, let me just delete this and this. Okay, first of all, let me just comment these two. This is the, we learn how to add it, okay, and print. So now we have on one array, which is called laptop, and we have another array list, which is called phone, okay? And by using add method, we have value. So by using method add, we can add value to single array. But what if I want to add the value of this array to this array list? You know, all the value from this array list, I want to add to the second array list. In that situation, use a method called add all. Okay, how I would do it? Okay, I want to add this value from this array list to this array list. Okay, then I will use the object of this array list. See here, I'll say add and then all. When you say add all, it means it is only collection. You cannot add a single value, only collection. When I create on this, then here I would add this collection. Now, whatever we have inside this phone array list is added inside the laptop array list. Okay, now I want to print laptop. Okay, printing laptop array list. Let's see. So here, inside the laptop, we have only laptop brands. Inside phone, we have a phone model. Now let's go. So printing laptop array list. See, LG, Lenovo, Sony, Samsung, LG, and then iPhone, S1, Pixel. See, iPhone. So everything now are inside this array list. Inside phone. So remember, add all method is a method that we only use to adding the phone collection into the laptop. It means only we use to add one array list inside another array list. But add method is only to use one element. Okay, if I want to add something inside laptop, I would say, let's see, dot, for example, add only for one element. Okay, so here I would say Toshiba, for example. Okay, this is only one element. If I want to print this, then Toshiba will be adding here. Okay, that's all. But when you want to add two array lists together, use add all methods. Okay, so I want to add the iPhone array list inside the laptop, but I also can use or can add the laptop into iPhone. So just replace them by printing the laptop. Then I have all the value from both array. So this is printing a laptop array. Then I have all the value here. Let me just give a out here. Okay, now I have one. here I have everything inside one array list. Okay. So, and also removing the phone collections. Now I have them all here. So then laptop, remove all. Now I want to remove everything from laptop. I added everything inside the laptop array. Okay. And now I'm going to send, so laptop dot add all phone. So add phone array list inside laptop. Then I print it. This is the one. Okay. Now in the next line, I want to remove whatever I did, removing the phone collection. Then I would say again, laptop, instead of add all, I say remove all the phone, whatever the phone array list has, remove it from the array. And after removing the phone collection, okay. And now, so after removing the phone collection here, you see here iPhone, S1 and Pixel, they are not in the second one, okay, because here we added them. Now they are here. So iPhone S1 Pixel, iPhone S1 Pixel. The second line says after removing the phone collection, laptop dot remove all. So remove all the remove the phone array list from the laptop array list here, and then here this is only the laptop array list. These three are already deleted. Okay, and also sorting the elements. If I want to sort them, then we have the method. We use the collections.sort. So, and then after sorting elements, LG here, LG, we have them sorted here. But the first one is not sorted. You see, this LG is here, this Lenovo, this Sony, and here it starts from LG. Maybe we have two LG, I think, yeah. So let me delete one. So this is sorting. What is sorting? Let me just give you an example, okay? I'm gonna comment this and write it again. So remember, for sorting array lists, they have built-in method. Why do we use collection classes? Because they have built-in method. They help us a lot. So, and now here I'm using collections method, a collection class. Okay, this is collections dot sort. And now you should know this. This is collections. This is a class that has built-in method like sort, but collection is the main interface. If someone tells you what is the difference between collection and collections, collections is a class that has different methods, but collection is the main interface. Collection is the main interface, okay? But collections is a class. Remember, this collection is a class that has method inside. So we can use this method. Sort is a method, okay? Inside this, then I would use my collection, the array list. So now when I use this, it's gonna sort whatever I have here. So I just wanted to give you the difference. What is a bit different between collection and collections? Collections, let me just check. This is important, okay? Okay, collection is a main interface dot very important. So what is the difference between collection and collection interface? Collection is the main interface, but collections is a class that provides built-in methods. Remember this. Okay. So on the last one, if I want to use the same thing again, if someone asks you reverse the element inside the array list, okay, we still use the same thing, okay? Collections class sort here. After I put the collection, the array list, after that, then I use the collections again, and I'll use the reverse order. This way it's gonna reverse it. Okay. Now, if you see, it starts from LG, ends with Toshiba. Here it starts from Toshiba and ends with LG. Let me comment this again. If someone tells you how to reverse an array list, okay, again use collection class, collections class dot sort. Inside the sort, we provide the array list that we want to reverse it. Okay, we provide it, but here we put a comment. Again, we will use the collection class, and then we use the reverse method. Okay, reverse order, and this way these elements will be reversed. Okay, the same. If I want to order them, I only use collections sort in array list. Inside the sort method, I put array list. If I want to reverse the order, I'll use collections.sort. Sort is a method from the collections class. Then I'll provide my my array list. Again, I'll use the collection class to use another method which is called reverse order. Then it will give me the reverse. So these are built-in methods. That's why we use collections framework. So again, when I don't specify the data type, I can add any value that I want, like integer, like whatever. And also remember, we don't use primitive data type with collections. Here, if I want to use int, I cannot say int. Remember, I can only use the wrapper class. Okay, integer and also integer, but it's gonna give me error because they must be integer. Okay, that's why use a specific data type and also a string. These are a string, but if I want to use without any specific data type, I can also delete the string, and then this is fine. Okay, this is array list, and we use built-in method. We use the difference between add and add all. We use add all method to combine two array lists. Okay, in add all, we put another array list that we want to add to another to the separate array list. We have two array lists, this and this, so we can add them together by the method add. By remove all, we can remove one array list from another array list. And for sorting, we use collections class with method sort. For reversing that, use collection class again, but with the method. And also we have to use it again for the reverse order. That's another method. So these are the things that the built-in method. And also, and now, so something I'm going to go through it very fast. This is the last thing that we are going to do tonight. If someone tells you how to iterate, how to print an array list, okay, then this is the way. So first of all, adding heterogeneous data. What is heterogeneous? It means I can add whatever data I want. It says null, this is value. Array list, integer list, array list. It says again a specific data type. Okay. And then how to print it? We also printed how to print the size of the array list. Okay. We only print array list and size. It gives us what is the size? The size of array list. The size of array list is 7. See, printing number of elements, then array list dot size. The size of array list is 7. Okay, here I want to remove one element. Okay, remember, if I want to remove one element, so imagine I want to remove 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to remove this 100. I can easily say array list dot remove method 6. I'll provide the index 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here before removing, it's give me 100. Okay, 100 is index 6, but here I got the size. This is the size, and here after removing again array list. So after removing, if you see this 100 is not here, and I can have only one A because I removed it. And after that, I want to, so let me use set method. What is set method? Okay, here 0, 1, 2. Here is 2.5. Index 2 is 2.5. I want to change the value to something else. I use set method. Where do I want to, what index do I want to change the value for? I want to change index 2, okay? So this is 2.4. First of all, let me use it this way. Let me use, I want to change this true to false, okay? Change the value. For changing the value, use a method called set, remember, okay? ArrayList dot set method. When I use set, it gives me, okay, what index do you want to change? I want to change index number 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, this index, okay? Okay, I'll put index here, 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. 8, 3. Okay, so this is null. What do you want to do? I want to put, this is true, I want to put false. Okay, so here, this is the index number 3. What do you want to do? I want to change the value. This value is true, I want to make it false, index 3. And now, let me print it. So after setting new data, then I want to print it again. If you come here, after removing, we have true here, see? And now let's see what happens. So after setting new data, this is 21, 2.1 false. But before that, it was true. Do you see that? Okay. Again, if I want to do the same thing, set dot set al dot set, just to again. So I want to change this name Rafiq to something else. So this is index 0. Index 0. What do you want to change? I want to say step. Okay, and then this is the name. And let me just after removing that. Okay. Okay, after setting the new data, here it was Rafiq. Now it's estet. Here it was to do. Now it is false. So this is something that we got here. That's set method. Okay, and after that, so we have another method which is contains. What is contains? I want to see if I have the, we see if we have something here or not. Okay, so let me just remove them and you guys understand it. So this out, they ask you, okay, can you see if we have value 2020 here? Here, I would say contains maybe I'll do it. Yeah, I forgot that. Okay, first of all, my latest dot contain. What is contains? Contains gives you true false. Okay, do I have the value, because it's, imagine it's too long. Do I have the value 2020 here? Then you say your array list contains, then here you only provide the value 2020. If you have the value, it gives you true. If you don't have it, gives you false. Another one. So again, al dot contains. We have the value 2021. Okay, so the first one should be false and the second one should be true. Okay, let's see. Yes, false, because we don't have 2021. See, there is no 20, but we have 2020. We don't have 2020. We don't have 2020. It should give me false. Yes, but we have 2021 here. It should give me true. So yes, we have true. No, we don't have false. This is about that. And also another method that we have add. Let me just show you this. I want to add something new here. So imagine we have a thing here 2 times. What is this add again? al dot add. So we have 2 adds. One add is to add element. Another add which has index It means I want to add a new element. It's like set. So I want to add an element after this 2021 and before this 2.5. It means index 0, index 1. In index 2, I want to add something new. 2. And here, I would say Esther. This is my value. Okay. Or I want to add 2000. This is that. Okay. Index 2. This is index 0. This is index 1. So instead of this one, I'm adding something new. Let's see where this will be added. Okay. And now I'm printing again after adding new data. So let's come. After adding new data, so this 2000 is added. Where this 2000 is added? This 2000 is added here. This is because I changed this to, if you remember, I changed this to a state. Okay, this is a state, and this is before this 2021. This is added because 2021 is 1. After 21 is here. This is 2000. It's added, and this is that. And also, if I want to get something, we use the method get. So let's come here. I want to get and this index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I want to get the value 5. Then we use the get method just to retrieve data. Okay, 5. What should be printed here? A, not A. What do we have here? So getting the specific data. Getting the specific data. What was false? We got false. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, we got this. If I want to change this to 6, then we got null. Okay, see, this is the reason we are not getting this because we added these two. So these are also part of this list now because we change the data. That's why we have. It means that we have more data here. Also, we have data here. We added data, so it means when you count this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, but it's not like this because we already added 2 other data here. Okay, so this is that. And so we learned get method, add, remove. So for remove, we just add an index, we delete it. So we can use set just to change the data. We provide the index, change the value from this index, change the value from this index. So we use contains method to see if something is inside the array list or not. If it says yes, true. If it's not, false. Then we use add method to add method to add a specific thing in as a index, and also to index 2 add this value, index 1 add this value, and also to use get to get the data. And the last 3 things I'm going to do quick. We have 3 ways to retrieve data from array lists. Very important. Okay, how can we get data from array lists? We have 3 ways. First of all, for loop, because it is index based. You guys know for loop. Okay, but there is one difference here. When you use for loop, if you don't use get method, you are not going to be able to get it. Okay, so when you use like I is 0, then it's smaller than array list dot size. We never use length. And then print array list dot get I. Imagine if I instead of I, if I use 4 here, see, if I use 4, if I see for loop, it 2.2.2 because it's only is going to give this one. Repeat it. So instead of only one value, that's why for get we use a generic use I. It means it starts from the first one to the last one. Okay, and then for loop, it's gonna print it this way. If you don't use for loop inside array list, it's gonna print it this way. What if you want to get the data separated? That's why we use for loops. This is a for loop. We get the data this way. Okay, so why do we use for loop? Because array is index based, and then here, if I want to, let me just do this again. sys out. Here, I cannot just print array list. Remember, I cannot just print I. What I would do, I would use my array list dot get. Give me what? Give me one index. Which one I want to print? I want to print all of them. So I want a value that go through all of them. Okay, that's why here I will use I, because this I will start from the first one and it will go to the last one. Okay, based on the size of that. So it's gonna print all of them for me. This is for loop. Another way, use for each loop. But for each loop, we do not use this get method. Okay, let me just work again with you. Okay, another something important for each loop. Let me just okay, for here, let me give you something very, very important, guys. Okay, this array list is keeps multiple data types, So what should I use here to cover all these data types? Okay, let me just go here. So here I would say, for example, and I would say each. Then I would use my array list here. Then here I would say sys out, then print this each. But there's an issue here. Since this array list is heterogeneous, it keeps all the different data types. This for loop doesn't know what to do because this for loop I gave int, okay, and it gives me error. But if I comment this and uncomment this, okay, this is gonna work, but still we have issue because this is integer and these are different data types. In this situation, when you have an array list that keeps different data types, we only, instead of any data type, we use object class. When I use object class, it says, regardless of what kind of data type are inside this array list, print it, because object matches all the data types. So instead of int, if this array list is integer, so I can use int here, okay? I can use int. If this array list is string, I can use a string here, okay? But if the array list doesn't have a specific data type and it keeps everything, so we use object. And here we don't use get method, we only print it. And then here, for loop, for each loop, see, we got all the information. Okay, so on the last one, using iterator. Remember that iterator is very important. So the first one, this iterator, let me just go to it, delete this and start from the scratch. Okay. Okay, so I want to print with iterator. What is iterator? This is the first. What is iterator? It's iterator. It's an interface, guys. Okay. What is iterator? Iterator is an interface. So by iterator, we loop through it, or we iterate through the value. Okay. So first of all, I create my iterator. Let me learn it this way. I want to iterate array. I use my array list. Then I use a method iterator dot iterator. This is the method. Okay. Iterate through this array list. Iterate through this array list. Okay. Once I do it, I need to keep it, and now I need to save it inside my variable. Okay. Okay. Now save it inside a variable called it. And what should be the return type? Since this method is iterator, the return type is an interface iterator. This is the return type of iterator. So I use my array list, iterate through this array list by this method. Then I need to save it inside the variable, and the return type should be iterator interface. If I go here, this is implementation. See, this is the interface iterator. Now, what I want to do, remember, after iterator, we always use while loop. Okay, what is while loop here? What I'm saying is, because we don't know if there is anything inside this iterator, so that's why I'm saying Okay, while this iterator, okay, here, what I want to do, this is my variable I created, okay? I save it inside. Why this dot has next? What does has next? It starts from this, and if this has the next, if there is any value inside this, print it for me. Keep iterating through it until it has the next element, and then keep iterating next element until you find it. And here again, I'll use this variable. Again, I'll use my variable. Now print it for me. There's another method called next dot next. Okay, so first of all, I want to iterate through my array list, and I'll save it inside this variable. With the iterator interface, this iterator is an interface, the return type. And then I use this variable. I will say, while this variable has next, has another value, then iterator dot next, just go to the next one, print it. And if there is no value, then it will stop. While this has next, it means tail this array list that is saved inside this variable has the next element, keep printing. And when it doesn't, stop. And this is the iterator. So we have 3 ways to print them and use iterator, for loop, and off. If you want, then I can share the code. If not, that's all. And this last one, if someone asks you how to convert an array list to array, let me just show you very quick. This is array, a string A. This is my string array. Then I would print it using for each loop. Let's see, this is printing using for each loop. If I print it this way, this is my array. How can I print it this way as an array list? Then I create an array list. Inside array list, okay, I would say arrays dot as list method, then I'll add my array inside this. Okay, so let me just do it quick so you guys understand. Okay, now if I print this, this is my array. I loop through it for each loop. It's like this. Someone asked me, can you just convert this array to array list? Yes. How can I do it? Array list. This is my array list. I will give it a name, L equal new array list. And then this is array list. That's all. But how can I convert this? So by using array method. Arrays dot as list. This method, okay? Arrays inside the constructor, arrays dot as list. In here, I'll add my array. So what array? This array. Okay. And after I put it inside that, I use sysout, then I'll print my array list. Once I print it, now this is my array. It should be printed as a list here. See, this is my list. And if I want to get the list element, because this is array, why did I change it to array list? Because array doesn't have built-in method. Once I change it to array list, then I can use my method. For example, what kind of method? I would say L dot add. I would say L dot add, for example, I would say cook. Okay, and then see, this is now a list. Okay, and then what else I can do? I would say again the same thing. Why do we use array list? Because it provides a built-in method. So I would say remove. Remove what? Remove the same thing that I created. Remove index what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, after I remove it, then I'm gonna print it here again. See, book is gone again. So now I can use built-in method very easily. So this is how, if someone asks you to convert array to array list, so we create an array list inside the constructor, we use arrays class dot the method as list, and then we put the method. The reason we do that because we want to use built-in method like add or like remove. So I want to empty, it's like Maryland. I want to change empty to something else. Dot set. Okay. So I want to change Maryland, which is 1 to Virginia. See, Virginia. So array list or collection give us a lot of benefits, like a built-in method that I said, so we can just use it. And I hope it was helpful for you guys. And